What's up, everybody? How are you doing today? I hope you're doing well. Today I will be talking about data structures in Python. So yeah, it's another day that's passing by, and I'm just deciding to read Python documentation and do some tests on my own computer, on my own time, on my own rhythm. So pretty much a relaxed day for me. Nothing to complain, as usually I say. So today's chapter is data structures on the Python documentation, which is something really foundational, really basic, really important to understand from the beginning, so I have to say. And yeah, there is no other better way to learn by writing code, executing it, failing it, and troubleshooting the code, troubleshooting issues. So what's what I'm doing here? As I said before, I used to write code and read code and just make sense of it, but there are many things that I didn't understand from at the first glance. Now everything is making sense because I'm reading the documentation and I'm doing some proof of concepts just by myself. Worth to mention here that I'm using IPython, the interactive Python shell, where you can execute code on the fly and get results on the fly. You can also have auto-completion, which is really cool. And you also have color syntax on. And it's interactive. You can even have access to the documentation and see what things are for. And you can read documentation on different libraries and functionalities. So to start with here, we're starting with this data structure, which is the first one, which is the list, the most basic and foundational ones from Python, where you can store data. And it's basically a list of things that you can later sort, you can reverse, you can find. So it's pretty much that. Pretty simple to use, pretty useful. There's no other better way to test it by yourself. And yeah, as I'm doing here, it's important to document it. So later, if you need to review again, you don't need to read the full documentation again or read some other guy notes. You can have your own ones, your own documentation, and you can easily remember what you were doing and what you were learning. No need to go deeper, just enough to make the code run, to get the code running and to experiment yourself. So yeah, in this case, we are using lists. And the other important data structure is the the stacks, which are basically the items that are, well, if follow this concept of LIFO, where the last item that was added is going to be the first item to be moved or to be removed from the list. The LIFO concept for the stacks, and the stacks are basically no other thing than a list. That's it. But the queues is the other thing. The queues are the other kind of list where it follows the principle of FIFO, where the first item that was introduced in the list is gonna be the first item to be removed from the list. The FIFO principle. And for that matter, you have to use the collections library. You use the collections library and then use the dequeue functionality from that lib. That's required to do that. And other than that, you have the list comprehensions, which is a different way to build lists. Instead of adding item by item, you usually generate a complete list from a single expression, like using a for loop, or maybe using a lambda function. You can really get complex expressions to build lists, or to even filter items from the list. So that's another important aspect to mention. And as I said, we have all this basic and data structure functionalities that we should learn in order to become fluent while writing code in Python. And you can see the documentation here in the terminal. That's something that I had cloned with Git. It's pretty much easy for me to search, move around, copy paste code snippets for me to understand, to move much more faster than just going to the web and doing scrolling or clicking things here and over there. I'm feeling much more comfortable working in the terminal itself. And you also have tuples, I don't know how to pronounce that, but it's another way to create a list of items as well. But are lists that are basically immutable. You cannot change the value of those tuples. Pretty much useful when you want to define something that's going to be static and you don't want it to be modifiable or modified along the runtime execution of your program. It's pretty much static. And as you can realize, I'm using ChatGPT in the terminal as well, just to clarify some things. But sometimes I'm using also ChatGPT on the web because it has the functionalities to upload images, generate, or to talk with other services like Canva to generate diagrams. I've been testing this option to create a video in, I don't remember the platform, but it was not that useful, but there are some other things that you can do in the web, but not in the terminal, like browsing external URLs. It's something I'm not able to do with OpenAPI in the terminal, but I'm able to do that in the web, ChatGPT. So here we are seeing another option, which are the sets, which is not other thing that a list that has unique values. It basically removes the things that are duplicated, and it gives you back a list of things that are unique on the list. Pretty straightforward to go. And finally, you have the dictionaries. Dictionaries are a list of 8 items where you have key value pairs. So in case you just need to associate information in the dictionary. You have a bunch of items. Each key is associated with its own value, and you can add or remove items from that dictionary. You can sort it, and you can even loop into all the items from the list. You can have access just to the values, or you can even have access to the keys only. So Python provides you all of that functionality. So as you can realize, all of these data structures are pretty much straightforward and simple to understand. Better if you do some coding by yourself. It's more simpler to understand. Pretty easy to get the information or the knowledge. So that's all I just wanted to share with you guys. I was just reading and testing the documentation by myself. Hope that this works for you. And yeah, see you in the next chapter. Bye bye.